Hello, good evening. I hope I am coming to you in your living room or your stamping studio or wherever you happen to be, and you are ready to join me for tea and cards. I've got my Stamping Up tumbler here tonight, and I am ready to share some stamping inspiration with you. Tea and Cards for the month of October features the Happier Than Happy stamp set. And it's from the Happy Forest Friends suite of products. So there is the Happier Than Happy stamp set, Happy Forest dies. There are 22 dies in this package. There is also some designer series paper. That's our fancy name for patterned paper. It's double-sided, printed on, you're gonna see some of it tonight in our card. Hi, Amy. And it also has a double pack, a combo pack. It comes in 2 rolls of twill ribbon. So you're also gonna see some of that tonight. So if you're crafting along with me, we are on week number 2. Let me remind you what week number 1 was. Last week we made this cute little thank you card. And if you tuned in, you saw that we used an embossing folder. This suite of products has a couple of products that actually coordinate with it. And one is the hybrid tree rings dies. So this is an embossing folder, and it comes with dies, and you're going to see something really cool about how that works next week, possibly. I think it is next week. You're going to see that. Okay, so this was our little thank you card, and of course, if you didn't want to make a thank you card, you can always swap out your sentiments with other sentiments that you might have. So tonight's card is going to use a basic white base, and then the next layer is going to be this Calypso coral, and that's what we're going to be starting with. If you're crafting along with me, I am going to be using Calypso coral ink. You'll need a couple of browns, so I'm using the soft suede and the early espresso tonight. So I'll give you a chance to grab those if you're crafting along with me. And in the meantime, I have a question for you. I want to know about Christmas. So if you're watching live or on the replay, I would love for you to type in traditional or non-traditional. So I have opened up this gorgeous set of paper. It's called the Boughs of Holly. And look at this designer paper in these beautiful rich greens and reds. Okay, and then of course, as most of our paper, one side is quite patterned, and then the back side has more of the same color tones, but more of the muted designs, more subtle designs. So I would call this traditional. Red and green we typically think of as our traditional Christmas colors. But then I opened up just this evening actually, a new set of designer paper, and this is only available right now for demonstrators, but it will be available for you on November the 1st, and it's called Fitting Florets. So I just need to show you this because this paper has specially been designed that it could work for the holidays, but it will also work for all your other occasions throughout the year. So there are some that could be classified certainly for Christmas holidays, and others, and I'll spin this around so you can see again the more subtle tones on the back. So I would call this the non-traditional set, but if you're a red and green person, there are still some gorgeous greens here in this set. So I'd love to know, what do you like? What do you like to craft with? What do you like to receive? What do you like to give at the holidays if you're making Christmas cards? And that's actually going to help me when I'm planning my Christmas events. So I have them on the calendar, but I have not designed the cards yet. So you have a chance to vote in on those too. All right, I'm going to flip our camera around. Traditional. Okay, I see one vote for traditional so far. I'm going to spin this around. Sorry, I mentioned last week I got a new stand, but I've been having a little bit of, I haven't quite found the right setup. So I'm going to go back to my old way here, my traditional way. But you are joining me in October, which is the very, very best time to join the Stampin' Up family. I just mentioned a perk right now is that you can order products ahead of other people. So if you love that paper, it actually comes with some stamp sets and dies as well. You could put that in your starter kit. Our starter kit usually allows you to choose $165 worth of product, which in Ontario totals to about $206 if you had to add tax and shipping to that. But, sorry, that's not correct. It totals to about, it would be about $200, but you only pay $135. But for the month of October, you get to choose $206 worth of product, anything you want from the catalog. Even our die cut and emboss machine fits in that category. If you had to pay tax and shipping on top of that, you would be paying $256. But for October, you can get all of that for $135. That's it. That's tax in, that's shipping in, that's also you get a free kit, paper pumpkin kit. And speaking of kits, I would love to show you this. I'm going to unbox this for you right now. Maybe you have not seen our all-inclusive kits. This is one I mentioned to you last week, I believe. This is the birthday card organizer. I love that it comes with the tear and tape instead of little glue dots, so this is much easier to use. And I'm not going to open up the cellophane just yet, but I want you to see it comes with, this is a larger box than usual. It comes with an organizer binder, and there are 12 pages in there, one for every month. And look at how wide the rings are. That's so that you can put in each pocket for each month, you can put all the birthday anniversary cards that you need for all the birthdays and anniversaries that are in your family. Then you also get 12 cards and envelopes in here. You'll notice there aren't any stamps or ink included. That's because everything is already stamped and you just have to punch it out. So there are full instructions to make. Here's your folder, your binder. You make this happiest birthday card, and this one says, it's your day. So it doesn't even have to be birthday. You could just be, that could be, it's your day, celebrate, whatever the reason is that they're celebrating, plus the coordinating envelopes. So the great thing about this is you could make this up, pop your 12 cards into the proper months for the people in your family that you're going to be giving to. Or you could make these up and put them in there and gift it to somebody as a ready-made, here you go, here's 12 cards ready to go. So this kit is only $34, which a lot of our kits are around that price point with just the cards, but this one has the organizer that you can use over and over and over. So there are also stickers inside. So it doesn't come pre-labeled. If you didn't want to use it that way, you could certainly use it for another reason. So it's called the birthday kit, birthday card organizer kit. Okay, and that is at my online store. And it's available now, but we never know with our kit collection. Sometimes they sell out before too long. All right, let's get to our card. So I have, as I said, our basic white is our base. So I'm going to go ahead. It's already scored for you. It's our regular half a page, half a sheet. And I believe I'm using the thick cardstock this time. Sometimes I switch it up. Sometimes, whoops, that's really jiggling. Sorry about that. And then we're going to be layering it. Now I have two. You will just have one in your kit. We're going to layer it with the Calypso Coral. So I wanted to add an embossing folder to that. So I've chosen the Fern tonight. Last week, again, as I mentioned, we used the tree ring folder. So if you don't have this one and you're crafting with me, any folder would do, or you can absolutely just leave it plain. I'm just going to take this off screen for a second. I've got it here, running it through my die cut and emboss machine. This machine is absolutely fabulous, and it retails for $170. So as I say, it nicely fits into the starter special right now. It usually does not. So if you want this machine, October is your month to get it. So now we have this beautiful embossed fern. But last week, you might remember, I taught you that you could take an ink pad, open up your embossing folder, and ink right in there. So tonight I thought we're going to try that again as an option, but this time I'm going to use a blending brush with it. So I noticed it felt thicker. Good. Okay, so I am just running a circular pattern here, and I'm not sure how much this is going to show up, but we're going to give it a go. I don't want it really bold, so I'm using the blending brush, and I've used a fairly light color. I think I'm going to get a little bit on there. I was afraid to go too dark, so we'll see. This is a bit of an experiment. Put a little bit more in here. Okay, so you can see I've got that ink on my brush, so I know it's gone on the folder. It's just hard to show up. And it's okay if it's not exactly uniform, because I want this idea. So now I'm going to put, oh yes, I can tell that there's some ink on there. I'm putting the cardstock inside the folder, closing it over, and it's the side with the Stampin' Up label that I put the ink on. Now we'll see if this actually shows up or not. And then we can decide which one we want to use on our card. Do we want just the plain, or, okay, here it is. Here it is. Very subtle, but to me, what it does when we put a little bit of ink on there is it defines this a little bit more, so I can kind of see the depth a little bit more pronounced. It's definitely not a huge difference, okay? Not a huge difference at all. I could add the darker if you wanted to see that, but anyway, I think we'll go with the one with the color on it. As I say, it just kind of makes it pop a little bit more. And then to clean this off, just use a wipe or run it under your tap, or use your chamois and just get that ink out of there. Okay, move my boards out of the way. Okay, so let's get going with this card. We're going to layer it up a little bit tonight. So you have a Sahara sand strip. I'll show you what the overall idea is going to be. You're going to put the Sahara sand on. Now I've made it the same width of the card. If you want to trim yours down so it's the same as the Calypso Coral, that's your choice. And then you should have some strips of designer paper. So as you know, our designer paper, two-sided, and with this particular set, the colors are all very similar. And then on the back side, we've got the Mossy Meadow and the So Saffron kind of look to it. So personally, I like this amount of color here, but then I think I'm going to alternate it with the yellows. And I don't want it to look perfect. I want it to be a little bit off center, so it's going to be kind of this way. And we're going to, let's switch over now and do some stamping, okay? So I'll just set that to the side. That's going to be how I'm going to design mine, but of course you can decide. I've got a couple of scraps in my folder here. You probably have some more generous scraps in yours. So tonight, from the Happier Than Happy, we're going to use that as our sentiment, happier than happy for you. And I'm going to use our owl and our tree trunk. So I'm going to have Mr. Owl sitting right on the tree trunk. Now, if you would prefer to use the fox box, you certainly could do that. Okay, but that's what I'm going to use tonight. So I'm going to pull out my scraps here, and I'll put the owl on one block and the tree trunk on another block. And the tree trunk, I'm going to make the early espresso. I want it the darker color. And I'm just inking that up. Now you can see it doesn't look even. Doesn't look like I've inked that evenly. That's because of the distinctive nature of this stamp. So it has some areas that are going to show lighter and darker. And look at the texture. Really looks like there's some shading already done there for you. So now I'll clean that one off, and I'll do something similar with the owl. And I think I'll use the soft suede for the owl. Inking him up, and again I'm getting that look like his face is clear, and you're getting a little bit of different depth there. Straight down, straight up. Oh, he's so cute. And now in your kit I have used the punch to create this shape. Where did I just put it? I think I've covered it up with my designer paper here. It'll show up in a second. Anyway, this is with our label punch. It's one of our newer ones, handmade tags, I believe it's called. Oh, I see it now. Anyway, I'm going to use that, and I'm going to use the Calypso Coral for our message tonight. And I want it to say happier than happy for you. This then could be really for any occasion, couldn't it? You're happier than happy for that person for whatever reason. Maybe they've just had a baby, maybe they've graduated, maybe it's their birthday, whatever it is. So I am turning my tag like a diamond up and down this way, and I'm using my grid paper just to kind of center this, and hopefully I'm seeing it properly. Usually I would stamp and then punch. Actually, that's working out just fine. It came out nice and square on. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So that was the Calypso Coral. Here's the espresso and the soft suede. Now I don't feel the need to have to add any shading to these because they're really already done. So now I'm going to reach into the Happy Forest dies, and we have the owl and we have the stump. Now there is another stump that you can, it gives you kind of a, oh, what will I say? Well, let me just show you. We can do that one as well. Okay. I'll show you what it will do with the crumb cake. So I'm just going to line up my die on top of where I have it stamped. Now I had a little piece of washi tape here, and I'm just going to put that on there because I'm going to lift this up and transport it over. Now with a little trick here with the owl, you want to be able to see his feet through those two holes at the bottom. Okay, you want to see the owl's feet through. So as I place it on here, I can see his little feet, and then I know I've got it lined up well. And again, I don't usually use the washi tape, but it will unstick and stick very easily. And then I'm going to run this one through to show you what that does. So I can put them all through at once on my die cut and emboss machine, just layering them all on at the same time. And then you can see how they turn out. All right, again, just a wind or two on this. Now, if you're waiting, you might want to find some scissors. Okay, so here we go. There's the pieces. So I have my owl, and I'll pop him out. Perfect, his feet are perfect. I'll pop out the tree stump, peel it off the washi tape, absolutely perfect. And then this one has made a textured stump. So there we go. And then what it can do is actually layer on top like that. Okay, that's what that one does, this detailed tree stump. So I just wanted to show you that. You don't need to add it if you don't want to. It's up to you. Okay, I'll put my dies away. I tend to save, people send you promotional things in the mail sometimes on a thin magnet. They work great to store my dies. Okay, there we go. Move all that out and let's start building our card. So I've got my Stampin' seal, and yeah, let's start from the bottom up. Some people build it right on top. I tend to go from the from the base up. So I'm going to use my Stampin' seal on my Calypso coral. So if you're just joining in now, or if you're watching on the replay, please comment if you like the traditional Christmas colors or more of the non-traditional. And I would love to offer you, if you can't attend my Christmas classes, then how about I come to you? We could do a workshop in your home with some of your friends, and everyone could make a few Christmas cards, or we can also do Christmas tags, because I understand not everybody sends cards, but most people give gifts at some point over the holidays, and the little gift tags are fun. Yeah, I'm going to go right to the edge. There we go, and it's not completely in the center, it's a little bit off-centered. And then let me plan this out again. I'm thinking yellow, and then the colorful yellow, and maybe I'll put this one down like so. And then, do you like the little extra piece on the stump, or do we like him just so? He's going to go over here. Let's see. You know what? I think I'm going to leave it off for now, but at least you know what that piece is for. And then we're going to be doing the label, but we're going to do something different with the label. So let's go ahead and start adhering these now. So I just put a little bit across the top, the bottom, and the middle. I didn't do this yet. Oh, yes, I did. And we'll just layer these in. As I say, I'm not putting them straight. Some people like things absolutely measured out and uniform, which is just fine. If that's your style, or on this card, if that's the look you're going for, no problem. But I'm going to make mine kind of more of a relaxed feeling, I guess. I shouldn't say that. Perhaps seeing things not orderly stresses you out. I know there are people, for sure, that might be the case. Not trying to stress you out here, my friends. I'm going to move this one a little tiny bit. Now, if I had done that with white glue, I wouldn't be able to pull it up. There we go. Okay, let's get ready to put the owl, the stump. I love how that brown, the early espresso, really shows up nicely. And we'll put the owl so his feet are just on top. Now, I thought, in my opinion, I was feeling this was a little bit too flowery. So I'm going to take this, this punch, and I'm going to snip off this top section. So I'm just going straight across and making it a flat top. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom and make a, so I've just changed the shape of that punch. Okay. And then I find it fits on there a little bit nicer, and it's just not quite so, I don't know, twirly. Okay, now I'm going to take a strip of the, this is the Sahara Sand Twill Ribbon Combo. Now this is a combo because it came with the suite of products. So this matches lots of the Sahara Sand in this print, and of course this one matches the greens as well. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of layer this in behind. So how I do that is I put a few strips of the seal across the back of the die. Sorry, it's not a die, is it? It's a punch. And then I just kind of start letting it go. So one side, loop it over, loop it around, and back again. So I don't press it all the way down until I'm kind of happy with the shape I've got. And that's pretty good. I think I'll bring it a little bit shorter here. Just basically a zigzag. And then on this layer is where I like to put my dimensionals, because it does two things. The ribbon, because I've put 3 layers there, is a bit deep, okay? So that's going to cause it to kind of sit high. It's not going to sit easily on there. I'm just playing with this a little bit more. So with putting the dimensionals underneath is going to allow that, yeah, like that, to purposely sit up a bit higher. So I'm going to put 3 or 4 dimensionals. Some I put right onto the label part, and some I make sure they're touching the ribbon. Pop the backings off, and I think I have my ribbon a wee bit too long, so I'm going to give it one more clean snip. And clean up this rough edge and pop it over here. Happier than happy for you. Then you should also have some of the metallic dots. So they are called Rustic Metallic Adhesive Back Dots. Rustic Metallic Adhesive Back Dots. And I like to put 3 on there, so I think I'll use 1 of the larger ones. And I usually place my dots kind of around the sentiment, and I just find it draws your eye to that. So I'll put 1 in here. And it kind of balances out with our little owl over here. And there we have it. Happier than happy for you. And we did add a bit of color on this fern. And this was the one that we didn't add. And of course, if you don't have an embossing folder, just putting it on flat is absolutely fine as well. So there we go. That was the second week. I need to show you a quick hint for next week. Oh my goodness, we are in for a treat. We are doing a pinwheel card next week. So be sure to tune in. If you miss my live videos, I post them to YouTube immediately afterwards at my YouTube channel, which is Stampin' with Diane T. So please check that out. I would love to have you join that channel, and I would love to have you like and share. Was that all I was going to show you? I talked about the birthday kit. I've talked about our week 2 project, and please let me know what you think for Christmas. Okay, thanks for joining in. Bye for now, and have a wonderful week. Take care.